Pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Rose.
Okay, pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting is given in the annual meeting notice, which was submitted to the Bergen Record and Herald News, emailed to the office of the tax clerk, posted on the PCCC website and bulletin board on November 21st, 2024.
Okay, roll call.
Alumni Rep Pusada. Trustee Awkward. Trustee Drakeford. Trustee Glover.
Present.
Trustee Diodene here. Trustee Moody.
Present.
Trustee Poe.
Present.
Trustee Ramirez.
Present.
Trustee Smith here. Trustee Sumter. Vice Chair Tanis. Chairman Margaret.
Here. Thank you, Stephanie. Okay, consideration of the minutes, resolution number 1, Board of Trustees meeting October 21st, 2025. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, may I have a motion on resolution 1, approval of the October 21st, 2025 minutes?
So moved.
Moved by Adam, assuming by Joel. Roll call.
Trustee Glover.
Abstain.
Trustee Diodene. Trustee Moody.
Yes.
Trustee Poe.
Abstain.
Trustee Ramirez.
Yes.
Trustee Smith. Yes. And Chairman Margaret.
Yes.
Okay, so, yeah, New Jersey law requires that an organization of the Board of Trustees be held in November. Thank you, Gavin. Floor is open for nominations, chair of the board.
Nominate as Marco.
Second.
Are there any other nominations? All right, is there a nomination to close
Motion to close nominations.
nominations?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor of closing nominations?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, conduct roll call on the motion for Dennis Markle as chair.
Trustee Glover.
Yes.
Trustee Diodene. Yes. Trustee Moody.
Yes.
Trustee Poe.
Yes.
Trustee Ramirez.
Yes.
Trustee Smith. Yes. Chairman Margaret.
Yes. Thank you.
Back to you.
Thank you very much. Okay. Now we have floor is open for nominations for vice chair of the board. Nominations are given and seconded. Request a motion to close nominations, then seconded. Voice vote.
Yep,
That's jumping ahead.
Sure.
One at a time, Dave.
Everybody know. By the way, I just want to let everyone know that Vice Chair Barb is on a cruise. Just in this meeting, well-deserved cruise for her. So
I will say lucky her.
we should be there too. Anyway, so do I have any nominations for Vice Chair?
I nominate Joel Ramirez for vice chair.
A second.
Barb would. Second. So we have a first and a second.
They can move to close the nominations.
Move to close the nominations. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
So, Secretary will call the roll, and the trustees will say if they're going to work. Joel Ramirez or Barbara Tennis.
Yep.
Sod is on.
Hey,
Sod,
guys.
you can hear us?
I was able to figure it out. Thanks.
Okay, so you know where we are. Very good. Thank you, sir.
And Trustee Drakeford's on.
Oh,
Oh,
very good.
okay.
Excellent. Super.
Trustee Ocker,
Here.
No, Assad, we're now voting on the position of vice chair. There are two nominations. One for Joel Ramirez and one for Barbara Tans.
Okay. Do we have, who are we, or who are we, who's being voted on at this moment?
Well, both first. You're voting for them. You're voting for one or the other.
Oh, okay. I thought you had to nominate someone and then vote.
They were nominated coming in.
Can I abstain? I'll abstain, for the moment, if you don't mind. Yeah, pass for now. Yes, thank you.
trustee Drakeford,
Yes, I just came in. I'm sorry. I will abstain for the second because for this minute until we.
You're
go
passing
through
as well.
it. I catch up.
okay. Trustee Golden,
Joel Ramirez.
trustee Diogene. Joel Ramirez. Trustee Moody,
Barbara.
trustee Poe,
Joel Ramirez.
trustee Ramirez,
Joel Ramirez.
trustee Smith,
Barbara Tans.
chairman Marco.
Go back to that.
Yep. Trustee Ocker,
Sorry, what was the chairman's vote? He passed?
No, he voted for Joel Ramirez.
Okay, yeah. But my vote is for Joel Ramirez. Thank you.
trustee Drakeford,
Joel Ramirez.
Sounds G.
Joel, congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. Post show.
Okay. We have a presentation tonight from our pre-college programs, and Dawn Brunson is here, and I'm gonna let her introduce who she's got here tonight.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So first of all, good evening. The new chair, is it the new chair?
No, same chair.
I'm chair.
Okay, same chair, congratulations. Same chair, so to the chair, to the trustees, to the cabinet, to everybody here, to the pre-college program folks who came and our alumni who came. We're gonna go ahead and get started. They just came from moral support. We have some speakers who are gonna share their stories, but for pre-college programs, for those of you who have longevity, you might know this department as Urban Consortium. Urban Consortium has been a department in this college for 30+ years, right? And in the last 4 years, we changed over to pre-college program. And so when I first came to, I'll start right here. College is a plan, not a dream. Let me pause. They're giving you things because in pre-college programs, we always have to give gifts. It's all about the motivation. It's all about remember us, right? We're dealing with a new generation. So actually, this is all that we have. You're not our target demographic. So we didn't have a whole, if you have speakers and headphones, y'all can't get that stuff. But college is a plan, not a dream. It's something, a slogan that we use is our mantra, is what's posted in our office, that, dreams come and go, dreams fade, they're fragile, they're elusive. But a plan has strategy, a plan has steps, a plan has accountability. And so if you want to go to college or have another post-secondary option, you got to have a plan. When I first started out here at PCCC 12 years ago, I was responsible for recruiting. And I would go into the school and I would say, anybody think, I've got prizes, I've got chocolate, anybody think they can cut a hole with this paper large enough for me to walk through? And 12 years ago, I was the same size, so I was never a small woman. But I was like, cut me up, cut something with this. And And can I walk through? You know, is prizes involved? Is chocolate? Who doesn't like chocolate? We don't have chocolate tonight. I didn't bring enough paper for you to try. I didn't want anyone to be embarrassed. And so the kids, and they're cutting, and they're like, yes, yes, yes. And they get finished, and they're like, no, no. You know, and there's a whole bunch of different kids, and everybody's taking an opportunity to try to cut this paper. Halfway through, I say to the audience, to the kids, raise your hands if you think this is possible. So y'all some kids, raise your hand if you think it's possible to cut a hole that I can walk through. Anybody think it's not possible? Well, you sure wouldn't raise your hand, right? Oh, for the kids, right? Some of them would raise their hand, one, because they trust me. You know, this is a person coming into the school. So if I'm saying to them that there is a way to do this, they're like, yeah, yeah. Other people are like, boo you, no, it's not possible, right? The kids try and try. And then I say, I'm going to give you some help. And so I give them this piece of paper. No instructions, but give them this piece of paper. So some kids kind of figure it out, and they look at it, and they're like, oh, okay. You know, they do it, whatever. But they just go, and they just follow. And I don't really tell them. I'm talking to the other kids. I'm not really giving them any instruction. I really wanted to do this with sturdier paper. Just in case. Just in case. No, it works every time. But the kids follow. They figure it out. They talk to each other. They phone a friend. They do whatever they need to do. Right? They cut this piece of paper. You guys have to be like the kids now. Like you're finished. And then I step out and I said, we did it! We did it! And everybody cheers because they're really excited. And you know, so this is a hole that's big enough, and I actually let the kids. I like that. Right, so this is a hole, but really, when we were doing our recruiting, we were like, that's what pre-college is about, right? Is we're not really selling an academic program. We're not really selling mentorship and counseling services and opportunity, exposure. You know, we're out here being hope dealers. We're saying to students that you think that this is impossible, but it's not impossible. You just haven't seen it done before, but it's certainly possible. And so if they can see something just as simple as, I didn't think this was possible. I got a plan, somebody helped me, and I was able to do it, then maybe, just maybe, I'll sign up for this program. And so about maybe 2 years ago, we had a young lady who didn't even sign up for our program. She came through our partnership with Patterson Public Schools. And she's our first speaker on tonight, Rachel Medina, who, as some of you know her, is the co-valedictorian for class of 2025 here at PCCC. 2024, she was her valedictorian in her school. But in 23 to 24, she came here as a full-time student as part of the Achieve 30. But it was also a pilot program that we had hosted with Patterson Public Schools. So it was completely free to the district because it was through the grant. And she was participating in that program. So we didn't have a long touch with her. But we had the experience and the opportunity to be able to see her grow and to share with her the knowledge that we have. So Rochelle, come on up.
Good evening, everybody. A pleasure to be here tonight. It's a pleasure also to speak on behalf of the pre-college program. My journey with the pre-college team began back in high school, in my senior year of high school, as Mrs. Brunson mentioned. When I was first introduced to the program as part of STEPS, at the time I was a quiet and shy and honestly overwhelmed with the idea of college. I didn't come from a family that talked about credit loads, registration deadlines, or majors, so I really didn't know anything about college. So even stepping onto a college campus felt intimidating to me. But the pre-college programs changed that for me. They gave me the space that I needed to feel comfortable in the college space, and they gave me the connections I needed to succeed. One of the things that made the biggest difference was something as simple as lunch. Every day we came into the pre-college office and picked up our lunch tickets. It was a really quiet way of making sure that we were secure, supported, and okay. And for someone like me who didn't ask for help out loud, those morning greetings were something that made me feel special and safe. That was my safe place, and I began connecting on campus and found my belonging. Because of the pre-college program, I was able to attend as a dual enrolled student my senior year of high school and get full credits in college. And it didn't end in high school. This past summer, I was able to serve as a mentor for middle school students through the Gear Up program, and I had the chance to give back of the skills that I have learned through this program to students who at some point I saw in me, because I was that student at some point who didn't know anything about college. The pre-college team has always been welcoming, kind, and intentional. They celebrate every win, even the small ones, and they never let you forget that you're capable of more than you think. They make sure students have what they need, from tutoring to a quiet space to work, to someone to help you register, to someone who simply notices when you're not yourself. I am truly grateful for how they have walked with me through every step of my educational journey here at PCCC. I currently attend Montclair State University, majoring in psychology, and I work part-time at the Wellness Center as a basic needs resource specialist. And so I just want to thank the entire pre-college team. They were honestly one of the first people to welcome me here at the campus. I didn't feel that I belonged at first, honestly, because neither of my parents went to college. And so simply going to their office and hearing their greetings every morning and hearing their supportive attitude towards me, it really pushed me and gave me the drive to get how far I've come and how far I will continue to go. So thank you.
So that's just, Michelle is just one success story. We'll hear two more as we move along. So who are pre-college programs, right? Pre-college programs consist of 3 grant programs, 2 federal funded programs, the Gear Up program, federal. Then we have the Gear Up, which is so confusing. Then we have the Gear Up College Bound, which is the state is the applicant for the federal funding, but it's a state program, right? And then we have our TRIO Upward Bound program. So those are the 3 programs that we have. 2 Gear Up programs. Our 1 Gear Up federal program will be closing out in this December. And we had applied for a new grant. We didn't get it, but we're smart. We made a contingency plan. So that work will still continue in that school. It won't be as robust as we had hoped, but the work will still move forward. And so for pre-college programs, our goals, even though there are 3 different grant programs, and so they have their own goals and objectives, the goals are pretty much similar. The objectives are different, and how they rate the success of the grant, rather that be standardized test scores or grades or taking classes at a certain level, may differ between each grant. But basically the goals are increase post-secondary expectations and readiness, improve high school graduation and post-secondary enrollment rates, raise post-secondary knowledge and preparation for students and families. So not only are we getting them ready for college, right? We're also taking their families along as well. We are also making sure that they're graduating high school as well, right? Like we're going to college, but we're supporting them in high school. Our programs run from middle school to first year of college. So Trustee Dio, she was our champion when we started the Gear Up federal program. We started with 276 middle schoolers, and we were to follow them, which we did, follow them through first year of college, with the goal of being 200 students that would come to PCCC. So we didn't get 200, we got 92. So that's a good number. Believe me, it's a good number. That did enroll and started their first year. And we gave them services one this year. We also, our College Bound and Gear Up program starts in middle school. It has the earliest touch. And so we're really excited about the College Bound Gear Up program. The Gear Up College Bound program is the largest program we have. So that Gear Up federal program was following that cohort of 276, right? The College Bound Gear Up program serves 350, and then we have 600 additional students, like we're supposed to serve 350, and then 600 along the way, right? And then our Upward Bound program, which is held for our Passaic High School. So both of the Gear Up programs are for Patterson Public Schools, but the Upward Bound Trio program is for Passaic High School. It's a much smaller program. Even though it has the same goals, how it reaches those goals are very different. The Gear Up programs are built to make systematic changes. They want to see you do professional development in the school. They want to see you work with families. They want to see something that can be institutionalized, right? Versus the Upward Bound programs are focusing specifically on those students. So I can take a student in an Upward Bound program, they like space, we can send them to space camp. Gear Up, I can't send them anywhere. Right? It's two different. So we're really focusing on in that Upward Bound program, they start in 9th grade and we have to follow those students until they graduate from college. But we're not able to give them any support while they're in college. Because they're a TRIO program, they're connected to other TRIO programs that we have on our campus here, the SSS program, Student Support Services, right? And then they can move on for graduate studies, they can do the McNair. Right, so they have a pipeline for the TRIO programs. Gear Up doesn't quite have the pipeline, but they're starting with middle school. And like what we try to do is try to think about what can we do outside of the grant. So we started working on Dr. Plummer. She's an alum of our program from 2009, not to tell your age, from 2009. And just saying to her, or can you rally them so that we can start having mentors for our college mentors, right? These people who came through the program, they're in career now, to be able to build a database so that those college mentors can have mentors. The college mentors then mentor the high school students mentor the middle school students. And in the spring, the middle school students will start to mentor the elementary school students, right? So that we can start building a pipeline. So by the time, we don't have to recruit so hard by the time they get to 7th and 8th grade, because they've already had a touch from the Gear Up program. Any questions? Good. All right, our role and our reach, right? We are a strategic arm of the college. We're not in a kind of like in a silo by ourselves, but we're very strategic, right? We're not just happening upon success, right? This is success that has been engineered. And so we align with the strategic priorities of the college, right? Early engagement with pipeline potential, right? That we have the opportunity. I had to write my notes down for this one, guys. I wanted to sound fancy. Right? Wanted to make sure that we had the K-12 partnerships, dual enrollment, right? And continue to be an anchor institution with our outreach, right? When I did the numbers, over 30 years, this program served just 300 students. And we've had in Urban Consortium now, pre-college program, they've had the Rio grant, they've had Century 21, they've had other grants, right? If we did 300 students for 30 years, that's 9,000 students. Not including their younger sisters, their brothers, their cousins, their mama, right, their daddy, right, that can come and also take part of the services that we have here at the college. So we have our pipeline potential, advancing sustainability and growth that these grants are about $2 million. I was so surprised when I found out that pre-college programs is the third highest we're the third highest spending department in the college. Facilities, workforce, right, development, the pre-college program, buying all these gifts. No, not much more than that. We spend a lot of money on platforms. We spend a lot of money on trips and experiences. But yes, I was very surprised to find out that we were the third highest spenders. But we want to launch new initiatives. We've been able to do, and it's really, really small right now, but wanted to be able to offer our students who graduated from our programs an added incentive as if they're coming to the Passaic County Community College. So we were able to start the pre-college scholarship. And so in each of the programs, we're able to give out 3 scholarships. So like I said, we started out small and we were encouraged when last year when it was like, you know, a donor will match. It was like, oh, okay, so we only have to come up with $750 if you want 1,500. And then this year we had to come up with 15. That was a lot of selling the candy bars. We didn't sell any candy bars. We had some donors from our team who gave. That was great. Expanding community presence, serving as the face of the college, really, in the community, because they don't get the opportunity to see all of you, right? But when we go into schools, we represent. When we go into communities, we have a wonderful staff, and I'll be glad to talk about them next. But they show up for basketball games. They show up for, right? You shake your head, right? Yeah, right. They show up for basketball. That's right, Dean. They do the plays, they do the volleyball, they do senior night. Anything the kids tell them to come, they come out and support. And that's part of connection, and then that's part about being part of a community. That's a part about feeling that, you know, when we're talking about being a hope dealer, right? Those are those constant interactions with students because they don't want to do the work. They want to be great, and they think they're going to be great like by tomorrow, like in an instant generation. But it's okay. I'm glad they want to be great, but we got to do the work. But it's okay to hear those messages when you know that people genuinely are interested in your well-being and are invested in your success. All right, here's the team. That's our fearless leader, Dean Tanya Anderson. Pre-college programs falls under the community programs, right? Dr. Rose, often when he talks about pre-college programs and the grants, when they were first initiated, that they were not meant to be a pipeline to the college, right? Most of these grants were for 4-year universities. The truth be told, if the kids ended up coming here, we did not do our job. Life has changed. Things are different. They want them to come here. They can go to the army. They before it was like college was the only 4-year university was the only option, but that is not the case. And so we fall under community programs again, being that anchor institution. And so Dean Anderson, we have our Dr. Jackie G, who's our assistant director for Upward Bound, Amber Rodriguez, counselor for Upward Bound, Noemi Carino, program admin for Upward Bound, Dr. Allison Alexander, curriculum specialist, Thomas Askew, who's here. Wave Thomas. Yes. Assistant director, College Bound, Daniela Escobar, coordinator, Gear Up, Flo Bebby, program admin, College Bound, Gear Up, Heather Evans, who just joined our team a few weeks ago. We're so glad. Counselor for College Bound, and then we have 11 college mentors, 24 instructors, 3 program liaisons. And if you notice these rings, right? These are people who are alums of PCCC, right? Who are able to say there are still professors who are teaching that they had, right? And so they're able to tell the kids like, no, that person's really great. No, you can do this, right? I remember those days. And so it's great that they wanted to give back, and they've gone on to get their bachelor's, master's, and Dr. G just got her doctorate just a couple of months ago. So this is the pre-college team. Oh, yes. Now we have our next speaker. Coming is Lorraine Gonzalez, who graduates this year. She's a senior. She started with us in 7th grade. She was an art winner. She's done the Y, and she presented to Congress some youth-facing homeless act. I went and I heard everything. I can't really tell you all the details, but I clapped and it was really, really special. And I was really, really proud of her. She's gonna come at this time and share her experience.
Good afternoon, or good evening. Good evening, everyone. I'm Lorena Gonzalez. As Ms. Brenta said, I'm a senior at Rosa L. Parks, Fine of the Performing Arts. And today, I want to take a moment to share why these programs are very important to me. and my family. These programs have been more than just resources. They've been support systems, community, and a path to help me shape who I'm become. My journey with Gear Up, as Ms. Vincent said, started in middle school, 7th grade. Little before COVID, my 6th, 7th, and 8th grade math teacher, Ms. Alserma, which I DP, came up to me saying, I recommend Gear Up and College Bound. At the time, I didn't really understand what it was, but her recommendation really opened doors to many opportunities that changed my life today. But through the workshops and campus visits and the people who guided me here at Gear Up and College Bound helped me discover my passion for health sciences. They introduced me to careers I didn't even know that existed and helped me realize I truly belong in this field. This program also introduced me to new people who became my friends, my mentors, and motivators. Shout out to Mr. Askew because he's been one of my #1 supporters. My confidence grew, and so did my success in school. Being around this program and being around others with similar goals pushed me to stay focused and work hard. Gear Up and College Bound expanded my school life in ways I never could even dreamed of. It helped me challenge myself academically and believe I was capable of more. And because of this program's support and encouragement I received, I'm now taking all advanced placement classes and 1 honors course in science and a dual enrollment class in business. Gear Up and College Bound didn't just prepare me for my future, they helped me see it. And for that, I am extremely grateful for these programs. And I want to add that Ms. Brunson, like she said, she recommended me for youth and government. And now I am sitting as one of the founders of Patterson, the City of Patterson's Youth and Government team. Thank you.
We're gonna go real quick. The services we provide are one of our big pillars is pathway services we provide. We have a Saturday academy that's about 6 hours on Saturday. The kids come 20 Saturdays out of the year. And then we have college tours and trips. We have a mentoring program. We have academic support, enrichment, exposure, college and career exposure, counseling, advising, family education. The services that we're able to do with grants are, and that's what I love about grants, is that you can see an issue and we can pivot really quickly, right? So we can come in. So we were working with a school. We sit in a Patterson Public School high school now on Wednesdays teaching freshmen. Well, Heather is teaching freshman seminar. And we've done personal education plans with all of the students, and it's about 60 in the high school. And we take their grades, inventory, just kind of get to know you. And 80% of the kids are failing Algebra 1. Now, this is a school that they had to apply to, go to. They had to, they're supposed to be not the cream of the crop, but like motivated students. And it's like, what is happening, right? And I was like, so we're going to do an Algebra 1 boot camp. So we got a teacher, we're going to do boot camp on Tuesdays and Thursdays. By the time that was on a Thursday, on a Wednesday, by the time we got there next Wednesday, it was like 2 people. Everybody was like right ready to go. But as we walked around the school and we talked to different people, we were able to find that it wasn't really an issue of having additional resources, right? Because the math teacher was coming to period 1, which was their study hall. They just weren't meeting her in period 1, right? So it wasn't that they did. They have so many different platforms that can do remediation, acceleration, whatever you need, these platforms can do. So the issue isn't that the students didn't have the resources, but they just needed more people, more hands on deck, kind of to keep them accountable and to keep them motivated. And so with programs like pre-college programs, we're able to go in and assist schools. So a teacher who has a roster of, so many students, a guidance counselor who might have hundreds of students, right? To have a team of people come in and be able to say, I'm going to support this group and we're going to figure it out. And I'm going to, we're looking at your portal every week. We're going to see where is it because you're not doing your homework? Is it because you don't understand? Right. And then we did a little research. We have kids. So those same 80, most of them failed math in 8th grade and failed math in 7th grade and failed math in 6th grade. Right. And so they were really defeated. It wasn't that they weren't, it was like, I don't even understand. She's speaking a whole nother language. So when we think about the services that pre-college is able to do, and hit us up next year to see if we were really successful. But we get to try different things until something works, right? Because certainly somewhere something is working, right? And we might not get all 60, but if we can get a third, that was a third more than we had. If we could do a half, then that was a half more than we had. I remember I started this when I first started working this program, and we say to all the students, like, we believe in you and you're so going to be great. And this one girl, I was like, you're never going to make it. But in my head, that's what I was saying. I would never say that to a student. But what I learned and what she showed me was that people who she didn't have the skill set, and it wasn't even that she didn't have the foundation, but she had the drive. Like, she was willing to do the work. It took her a long time, right? But she graduated. She graduated from PCCC. Then she went on to Kane and she graduated from Kane. And now she's studying to be a teacher, right? But to see her, it always reminds me what these programs have the potential to do. And so to be able to be in partnership, to be able to gear up grant at JFK, the one that we started with the 7th grade and we followed them all the way through. We were supposed to be doing we were supposed to get kids for math and science. That was the goal of the grant. We ended up writing to the grant and we said, we have so many kids who are failing. Can we use these funds to do remediation? And so we did this whole campaign for on-time graduation, right? That became the focus. And that's what's so great about pre-college programs, right? Is that we are able to adapt, we can be flexible, and we can meet the needs of the students. College and career map, we're not going to go over it. The other thing is community, that we do really like being able to support, reach out to different programs. We don't have to do everything as part of the pre-college programs. Like youth in government was not our program, that was the WISE program. I called the Y and said, I see that you have youth in government, and actually somebody from HR sent me that and said, this might be great for your kids. Called the Y and said, can I get 5 students, like 5 spots? I'll get 5 kids. I got 5 kids. 5 kids became 3 kids. 3 kids became 2 kids to the kid, right? That actually went through and completed it because it was a lot of work. They had to go to a conference and all of these different things, but really connecting to the community to see what options are available to the students, that it doesn't all have to lie. The departments at PCCC have been really great. They've been able to present to our kids, be able to give them great experiences. One of the best college tours we had was the PCCC college tour. Give it up to Patty. She was one of the people. We reached out to enrollment and said, we would like to do a college tour here, but we need it to be good, right? Because our kids are always coming to this campus. Like, we need all the hands-on things, all the bells and whistles, give us some good snacks, like all the things we need, right? And so we started, it was a date that the kids were out of school and we were able to, Passaic did healthcare, they did the simulation lab, they were able to do hands-on. I might have some pictures, I'm jumping around, there you go. They were able to, it was their day off of school. We partnered with the school. So we also had our students, along with other community partners, had students that came that day as well. We started out here at the main campus, but we did a different take, which was Mr. Askew's idea to say, they've been on this campus all the time. They don't need to see anybody like in admissions. And so we did student affairs, student life. They came and did a presentation about how great it is to be here, the different things you can do while you're here, right? They did their presentation, they got breakfast, then they got back on the bus, and then they went to Wayne, to the Public Safety Academy, right? They had a fire demonstration there, learned about different career opportunities there. Then they got on the bus again, and they went to Wallace, from Wanacue. The team there was really great. They were able to be in the chef, be in the kitchen with the chef for the culinary. They were able to do the performing and fine arts. They actually put on Tia made up some kind of impromptu drama presentation, but they said it was amazing, right? Then they got on the bus again, the best for last. Went to Passaic, and Passaic did the healthcare. They did the presentations. They had the small groups, the large group, fed us lunch, and it was one of the best the kids raved that it was one of the best college tours. And I said to Thomas, I'll let you guys in a secret. And I was like, because we told them what we wanted, that is what I said in the office stuff. But the reality was all the hands-on, right? Being able, and the teams were so excited. They were calling us and saying, this is what we have prepared for you. And that translated that day when they showed up. So what's the good data? 100% of our students graduate from high school. That's good. 94% enrolled in college. This is data from our 2024 combined college-bound Europe and upward-bound statistics. 63% of those students attend PCCC. 32% attend a four-year college. Europe at JFK, the Europe federal funded program, 92 enrolled at PCCC. For dual enrollment credits, it was really small. We were able to do, again, a pilot with Patterson Public Schools for early college. We were sitting in a meeting with the director for early college and dual enrollment. And I said, oh, how many school students from Patterson Public Schools? And she was like, oh, no, they don't have any students in this program. And I was like, oh, no, that's our job. We're supposed to do acceleration and everything from remediation to acceleration. And so we worked really hard, and thanks to the support of Dr. Rose, we were able to get state funding, additional state funding, to be able to cover 25 students, but we didn't find 25 students who were at level to qualify for early college at first. And so we started out early in January. So we boot camped those kids and boot camped those kids. Some kids didn't make it until classes had started and they were still testing, trying to qualify. But we ended up with 12 kids who were able to be a part of that first pilot program for Patterson Public Schools, that they came here full time because they didn't have the opportunity to have those classes in their building. So they came here full time. So they were the ones with 60 credits, and then we have achieved 30 students who were able to get 30. And then like Lorraine students taking classes at different classes. So we do an AccuPlacer prep in all programs to let the kids know if they're at college level. So they're not, sometimes kids are getting A's in their classes, and they're getting A's because they're there and they're doing homework, not A's because they've mastered the work, mastered the topics. And so to give them a realistic view of where they stand so that they can work harder, and be better equipped and what they need to do. And then lastly, 82% of our students, seniors, and so this particular year we have 44 seniors, so 82% of them graduated at college level. This was our upward bound, just because theirs comes in a really great, nice chart. That for the most part, our rate always excelled. The only one was post-secondary enrollment and standardized tests. Standardized tests because some of the students didn't take it and we just didn't have the data. But our post-secondary education completion, post-secondary enrollment number at 50% and not 100%, just because, again, following through the students, and we're not able to give them service. We try to support them as best as they can. So they might apply, right? They might do all the things, but when it's time to verify enrollment, are they enrolled? But really proud of the work that the Upward Bound team has done. And last but not least, we have our alumni, and now full circle, she's the parent to one of our students, right? Our alumni and parent, Dr. Felicia Plummer, that you guys know, many of you know her, who is now the Associate Director of PCCC's Institutional Research and Effectiveness, and she's going to share it this time.
Didn't write a speech, but I'm just gonna talk about my experience. So I did start out in 2005. So my initial intake to the program was through my mother. So she had 5 kids and her last 3 all went to this program. So that was good. She always instilled in us the importance of an education and getting additional support that we needed. We didn't come from a family that was well off, so she understood that education will be the driving force to get us to where we needed to be in terms of our goals and what we wanted to do in life. So she started this all. She's no longer with us, but I carry her with me every day, share her story. I am her story, her legacy. And so this program as a student, it helped me to get ahead of the game when I started high school. So professors or teachers and students were like, how did you know this before we even started? It's like the first week. I'm like, I'm not gonna tell you, but this great program right down the street, because I went to Harper Academy right up the street. And it helped me just to stay ahead of the game, like I said, and it was very important in allowing me to challenge myself. I was always one to want to excel in my academic performance, and the program helped me to do that. It also provided exposure beyond the classroom. We did a lot of cultural stuff when I was here, a lot of college tours, which allowed us to see what was beyond Patterson, what was beyond the state of New Jersey, which was very helpful. And then from there, I was also part of the EOF program when I went to Ramapo College, which is another support program that was very beneficial for myself. Some people would say I followed my brother there because he's 2 years older than me and he went to Ramapo as well. But we went through that same program and it was able to help us and support us along the way in our college pursuit, which I highly recommend to anybody who is pursuing college to take these programs, to join them and to do the best that they can. As an alumni, I do network a lot with other students who went through the program. They're doing excellent as well. Like Dawn was saying, trying to work on getting that data for the college so that we can reach out to them so that they can come back and give back to the college any way that they can. And I'm sure they would be more than happy to do so. And then as a parent, it wasn't a question of whether my son would come in. It's like, I signed you up. Here's the first day. Took that out of my mom's book. So yeah, it was just, I know what's good for you, and that in hindsight, you will see that this will be very beneficial for your education, for your career goal, for anything that you wanted to do in life, really. Even if you don't go to college, it's still something that's helpful for you, something that you can look back on and take with you. And it also allowed opportunities for him. He went on a lot of trips. He started this summer, which was good. And then I interact with some of the teachers that he had, and they said, he's a very bright student. I'm like, yes, he is. He talks a lot, but he's very bright. And I want the program, and I know the program will challenge him to do better, to go above and beyond, to step outside of his comfort zone. And I'm so grateful for the program that is still here. And not only my son goes here, I have 2 younger cousins who are in the program as well. Trying to get the last one, he's a little younger, but when he gets of age, I'll tell his mother to sign him up so he can come as well, because we know that the program works and it will continue to work. And we hope that it continues to get the support it needs from the state, from government, and we know that it's getting it from Dr. Rose here at St. County Community College. And anything that I can do, I'm always here. I'm happy that I'm working here now and able to give back in different ways and show students that you can come from Patterson, New Jersey. I still live here, and you can go all the way to the top, get your doctorate, go above and beyond and do whatever you can. I never knew, and I tell this story, I always wanted to be a doctor, but a medical doctor. So I did go to Harper Academy, which was this health and related high school. So my goal was always, I'm gonna be a doctor. But life happened and it pivoted, and it was accredited to the College Bound program, to EOF, that showed me, mentors came along that showed me, you can still become a doctor, but in a different way. And this is my journey, and I'm glad that it's one that I get to be able to share with you all, to share with my community, and to pass along to my generation, my children, and hopefully my grandchildren for years to come. So I thank you for your time.
So since we took over this board meeting, we are finished. Right, we future ready, we getting ready. We're trying to make a way. Oh yeah, question.
Yeah.
It's the end.
Okay, yeah. I'm a little, the number that you gave us for 50%, is that the attrition rate? Is that the number of people kids who sign up, drop out before they get to the end to enroll?
For the number that I gave.
Yeah, the number you gave before, I was a little confused. What is that?
Which one?
Number reference? Yeah.
No, it was the ones that did, right, that did, like, they enrolled, but they didn't start going to classes.
So that's the attrition.
Yes. Mhm. Yep. But yeah, we are future ready. We are trying to, as you may have heard, these grants were in jeopardy of losing these grants. And so we always try to stay a step ahead. As a team, we were thinking about what are things that we can do so that this work that we've been doing doesn't die, right? What can we do to keep pre-college, right? Because this is a vital part to the college, right? We're able to see trends. We're able to see these students before the faculty sees them. We know what they're like walking in the door, and how do we take advantage of that knowledge? How do we take advantage of the partnerships that we have? And so we're working again to see what are the things that we can do, like the early college program that we pilot. We paid for, our grant was for 2 years to pay for that, but we didn't even have to pay the second year, right? Because Patterson Public Schools says this is something that we want to continue doing. Now, they didn't get the whole big picture, which is like the support, right? But that's where we were still there to support, because they only had 4 kids then who qualified for the early college program. But now this year, we're back up to 10 students. So we're coming along. And that's when you're invited. We have a special event, May the 2nd, 2026 is our theme park expo. We've been doing project-based learning. We're building theme parks. We're going to Disney World. We don't, Gear Up cannot take these kids to Disney World. But we've been telling them, I wear ears and everything. We are going. We have 1,000 of our $60,000 that we need, but we're going because we just needed something to kind of get the excitement, not only for the students. I mean, we got space in schools. We never had space before. People helping us. I mean, we have more kids than we know what to do with, because everybody wants to go to Disney. We only have the budget for 30. But our theme park expo is May 2nd. Where the students will be showing off their projects that they've been working on. So we hope that you will join us. This is all of our information. Follow us. And that's it. Thank you for this opportunity. Any more questions?
I just want to say, this is Keisha Drakeford. I just want to say kudos to the TRIO program, Upward Bound, College Bound, and Gear Up. I was the assistant director of College Bound up 10 years ago, and the program has grown tremendously. Just the staff that you have that are there to assist kids, it's phenomenal. The work that you're doing is great. Dr. Rose's leadership, it's amazing, and it has taken PCCC just so far. And I just want to say kudos to you, your team, and the staff. Just keep doing the great work that you're doing. Keep, providing those pre-collegiate services to the students in the Passaic County community, because they need it. And up 10 years ago, all of the services, there were services, but there weren't as many. And in the support, there weren't 24 counselors and and 11 counselors and 24 staff. It was probably 3 staff members, trying to do the best that they could do. So just kudos to you all and your team that's doing this great work. Just keep it up. Dr. Rose, you are the best in my view. So just kudos. Congratulations. Keep it up. And congratulations to the students who have come back because they have excelled in those programs. But there are a lot more out there that have excelled through those programs. So thank you.
All right, so let me give you the bad.
Does Hassan have questions?
Yeah, thank you. I just want to say that this is one of the best presentations, in my several years on the board. Really fantastic stuff, really exciting. I didn't hear this in the presentation. Maybe I missed it, so forgive me. But are you working in this program? Do you do any work with the families themselves? Like if the students, the program, is there any work done with the families themselves? Because obviously, if these are children who, have parents or generations who haven't gone to college, there's a gap there that could certainly use help too. Are you doing work with the families directly, or is it only through the students?
No, so that is one of the goals of all of the grants, is to be able to educate the parents, right? Because the parents are the ones spending all the time with that. And if they can't see it, or they don't know how, or they don't think they have the support, then it's less likely that the student will be able to persist, right? So yes, we do work with families, and referral services, even things for basic needs.
That's great. That's fantastic. And are you doing any kind of career development? Because one thing I've found, even with young people, I get interns and things who are like, go to some of the best colleges in the country. And I'm just always amazed by, like, no matter what the school at any level, they do a great job of educating students, but they do a terrible job of helping them figure out who they want to be career wise. They just don't help put them in a career, or just help give them an idea of how to figure out what career they want. Or are you doing any kind of career development? I know they're obviously at a high school age, but it's never too early to start thinking about, who you want to become.
Right, and so we start as early as middle school, because their counterparts in wealthier districts, those students know what they want to be, right? Because they've had the opportunity to go with mom to dad to work. They've seen different people in their family, different occupations. Right. We definitely do, because the career exposure is the relevance piece. And that's why we're going to Disney. That's why we're doing project-based learning, because trying to frame it, right? So that they would understand that this is towards a career. Oh, this is why math makes sense. Oh, this is why I need to write. Oh, this is, you can read that. I had a student who told me, like, they were like, don't worry, I'm gonna do a trade. Like, I'm gonna be a plumber. And so I don't have to read. And I'm like, so you're never gonna read directions? Like, you're not gonna, like, you know what I mean? Like, you're gonna get there and you're gonna be lost, right? But again, that's part of the career exposure, is what are the skills that go with the specific career as well, because students don't know. So in addition to giving them this exposure across various careers, is what do you need? What is the skill set that you need for those careers? And do you have that skill set, or even those desires?
Yeah, that's fantastic. Thank you so much for your work.
Okay, I have a question. This is Trustee Sumter. I know you mentioned in your presentation that you had to do a pivot because of budget cuts. I guess this would probably go to Steve. How bad were the cuts for this program?
I'll start and Dawn pick up. So the White House, in their request to Congress for funding for next year, have declared that all of these programs are totally ineffective, and have asked that they be zeroed out in the federal budget for next year. Now, the good news here is that there was already a hearing done in Congress, and you knew the chair of the senator who was chairing the thing wore a pin to the thing which said TRIO on it. Okay, so it appears that despite the fact that the White House has asked these programs to be zeroed out, there appears to be very strong bipartisan support in Congress for these programs. So that is the good news. Now, you all follow the goings on of Congress. They have yet to be able to do a budget yet, so we'll see what happens, and we'll see what happens. I'm obviously encouraged by the fact that there does seem to be some folks in Washington who do understand how important these programs are. How it's gonna turn out is anybody's guess, but this is where we are.
Yeah.
But the state already has lost somebody for their programs from the federal government, so we've already seen some cutbacks. You know, to what we are doing, and you know, we're waiting and seeing what happens.
Yeah, if the worst was to happen, do we have enough funds to at least keep the program going ourselves?
No, but we will. I mean, no, I mean, you know, we don't have, you know, look, any time that something gets cut, you know, it has to come from
Well,
somewhere
somewhere, I
else.
get it.
It's
No, I
not
get
like we have extra money, we don't, and we try to find. But you've got some very, very effective programs, you know, Susan and I, we've been talking a lot lately, she's running a program where the grant is going to be ending next year, but it very much appears she's working on getting some money from some other sources to keep it going, but we're doing an analysis of it right now. And you know, in some ways it's gonna pay for itself because of how the success of our students, that if you can retain these students and they stay at the college, they stay through graduation, and they bring their grants, Pell Grants with them, and they pay tuition for those years, that, you know, we're investing in these students and it pays off. So, you know, these are hard calculations to make. Unfortunately, this is not the only program that we run, which is so wildly successful. I mean, that's the problem. I mean, there's a lot of programs where our students could not be as successful if they didn't get the support that they get at the college. So we're constantly trying to figure it out. It's not easy, but so far we're, you know, but as you can tell, we're committed to doing these things. You met some of these people. It's just what an incredible story they've got to tell.
I could just,
Yeah.
working with Dawn is a pleasure and she doesn't take no for an answer. And I think pivot is the right word because during COVID, she was like, every Friday, right, we would be online figuring it out. So I do miss working with you one on one. Like Keisha said, like kudos to you.
Thank you. All right, I'll keep going. I just want to invite you all to the holiday party, which is here, so you got the notice, and hope to see many of you there. We saw many of you there last year. You have adoption of the annual meeting calendar on here. That's part of the reorganization. Your feedback that we got from those of you is we kept it on for the most part, it's on the third Tuesday at 6 o'clock for the meeting. There's a couple of months where it doesn't work for one reason, and you'll see that it's there. Got one meeting at the new Rifle Camp Park campus in April. We hope to be there, and one meeting up in Wanacue where the chefs can cook. So that's always a fun night. An academic item again, one just like last month, we're renaming one of our programs in computer information technology to make it more in line with what our students need right now. You've got purchase goods and services, nothing too exciting there. Happy to answer any questions about any of those things. I think we're good.
But I have a question.
Please.
What does PESPR stand for?
Hispanics Inspiring Students Performance and Achievement. And although it has the word Hispanics in the title, we don't discriminate or exclude. Every student is welcome to apply and participate.
Great. Right, so resolution number 3, consent resolution, items A through C, adoption of the annual meeting calendar, changing the nomenclature of computer information technology, purchasing goods and services. And I have a motion to adopt resolution number 3 as set forth in the memorandum.
I'll move it.
Second.
Roll.
Trustee Actor,
Yes.
trustee Drakeford,
Yes.
trustee Goldman,
Yes.
trustee Diogene. Yes. Trustee Moody,
Yes.
trustee Poe,
Yes.
trustee Smith,
Yes.
trustee Sumter,
Yes.
vice chair Ramirez.
Folks on.
Joel, you're on mute.
Yes. Sorry. My internet, it's not too good.
Yeah. Okay. Resolution.
4, yes.
Personnel items. Personnel items.
Personnel items.
Personnel.
Yes.
Okay.
We needed a separate.
We need a separate resolution. So that the top.
Somebody had a.
Yes,
conflict with it?
yeah, that's one.
All right. Okay, may I have a motion to adopt resolution 4, personnel items? Second. Second. Roll.
Trustee Actor,
Yes.
trustee Drakeford,
Yes.
trustee Goldman,
Yes.
trustee Diogene.
Yes.
Trustee Moody,
Yes.
trustee Poe,
Yes.
trustee Smith,
Yes.
trustee Sumter,
Abstain?
vice chair Ramirez.
Please let the record reflect I must recuse myself from the personnel recommendations.
Chairman Marco.
Yes. Okay. Are there any remarks from the public? Are there any remarks from the trustees?
Yes, Chairman.
Oh,
I just want to say thank you for the presentation, also for the great work for the students, because it gives us the idea, for example, about my little sister, my little brother, and how they can be learn at VHS. I didn't finish high school in the country, but my siblings, they are. So there's a lot of information that is learning and coming to learn. So this is a great moment. I just want to thank you and for the hard work, the dedication, and everything that is being done for the students,
Joel?
On mute.
Unmute.
There's a little delay. Sorry. Thank you, Chairman. I just wanted to take a moment to thank my colleagues for their vote of confidence in electing me Vice Chair this evening. As you all know, I work hard and I'm dedicated to what I believe in, and I believe in education, and I believe in the mission of Passaic County Community College. So I look forward to the year ahead and all the work that we are going to accomplish. So thank you very much.
Great. Work you did. Great. They have a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Roll.
Trustee Actor,
Yes.
trustee Drakeford,
Yes.
trustee Goldman,
Yes.
trustee Diogene.
Yes.
Trustee Moody,
Yes.
trustee Poe,
Yes.
trustee Smith,
Yes.
trustee Sumter,
Yes.
vice chair Ramirez,
Yes.
chairman Marcos.
Yes. Okay, the meeting is adjourned at 7:05.
Okay, and tonight is pie night.
Fine night.
It's pie night.
Yeah. Holidays.
We have